And of course, in Australia, South Africa, and Namibia, it's all about utilities, mining, and of course, project management skills will be far more important. So those are quite a lot of differences. And this, I'm just mentioning this now, skills and knowledge, because this is really, really important. And it's caught me by surprise, actually. And that is that knowledge I always regarded as a very high level stuff that you get at a university or a college. Really important. Knowledge, you are highly skilled as an engineer with knowledge. But in fact, the skills, the ability to apply the knowledge is what matters. And that's where you can actually get around the AI revolution happening at the moment with skills. Skills are absolutely critical. Now, knowledge, unfortunately, if you're a lawyer or anyone just using knowledge, that's going to be replaced by the AI tools. It's going to be huge competition. And I'll come to AI very shortly. But the skills, the ability to take that knowledge and apply it to a particular area, that cannot be replaced by an AI tool, not at the moment. So that is the huge opportunity. So that's where the tradies, artisans, are got a really good place to be. Because can you see an AI tool doing a drill or installation of electrical conduit or a hip replacement, which a surgeon does? No, not going to happen, not at this stage. So that skill is very difficult to replace with an AI tool. So that's really important. There's a few comments here, and all these slides, by the way, I'm not going through every slide, I'm just going through the key ones. But this is a comment from employers. My wife always says this is a bad slide to put up because she says it's a negative slide. So please forgive me. But employers say a lot of engineers lack technical competency. Well, it's because they come from a theoretical background. They need to learn the skills. A lot of employers say there's no available applicants, and particularly some of the niche areas, no, there are none. And experience is always a problem. And I was always, as I said before, that's always the difficult one because you need a job to get the experience. So that's obviously critical. And as I said earlier on, without a shadow of a doubt, in Southern Africa and Australia, project management skills are absolutely critical. They are number one in terms of your capabilities. Very important. And obviously the ability to budget, work out costs. Now, these are fast-moving areas of technology, and I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I'm just going to refer to them, and I'm going to focus on the top one here, AI, because that's what I want to spend some time on talking about. So the first question for me is, let's ask you out there, how many have you used an AI tool in your work? Give me an example of what you've done. So put there, I have used it to help me write a memo or whatever. Please, I'm just going to type in here, please tell me what you have used an AI tool to do in your work. So I'm not talking about writing a essay to post on a love heart site where you're recruiting a friend to go and join you on a happy weekend or something. But I'm talking about your job, work. So I'm not talking about anything frivolous like having writing a nice bio of you. I'm talking about your work. Please tell me what you've done. Put some chats there, what you've done. Just text it in the box. Oh, there we are. Brilliant. What a fantastic one. Learning French through Google to communicate with French clients. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Ukumuna. Brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. And the great thing about these tools now is that you can actually chat, uh, translate very effectively. It's absolutely a no-brainer. And it is changing the world of connection amazingly. There's only one problem we found is that often it doesn't handle technical words very well. So you've got to be a little bit careful about technical stuff. Any other tools that you use AI for? Nothing. Okay. Help me falter my machine. Yep. Okay, that's a good one. Samuel's come up with a really good one. In fact, I had a I had a problem with a microwave oven the other day, and I got onto my tool, my AI tool, and said, "Hey, mate, what's the problem here?" It then gave me the diagnostics and what to do. So, although I've got a problem with a vacuum cleaner, and of course it's diagnosed the circuit board as failed. It turns out the motor's failed, so electric motor failed. So it's not always accurate. Okay, so AI will help you. It can actually think, interpreting technical engineering terms, word to be specific. Thanks, Ephraim. Brilliant. So there's quite a few suggestions there. So really, the critical thing is prompt engineering. So obviously, it's really important to use the critical thing with prompt engineering, as we call it. And just to put everything in context, it's always very important to put it in context. Safety topics with my team. Thank you, Samuel. Brilliant. I'm going to come to safety with a few videos in about 10, 20 minutes. Very thing. Suggesting materials type with less weight for my SolidWorks design. Brilliant. Thanks, Don. Fantastic. Excellent. That's the sort of stuff. Helping me troubleshoot a faulty hybrid off-grid inverter. Gee, amazing. Fantastic. So you've got a little chum there, which actually helps you. Using research work during university. Thanks, Reagan. Conrado, used J in my consolidating lots of research in my research proposal. Yep, brilliant, excellent. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so just to put it in context, AI versus machine learning, we've got artificial intelligence as the overall animal. Machine learning is a subset of it, and then deep learning is the stuff we're going to be focusing on today. So ChatGPT, deep learning, that's the animal we're going to focus on today. So one of the, obviously, the key building blocks for deep learning, and I'm not going to go into this in huge detail, but essentially we go through a whole process of converting text into something useful, and we have a what we call embeddings map here. So every word we have in our message is broken up into what we call tokens, which are basically words, and they all have a vector representation because computers don't understand words. They only understand, unfortunately, numbers. So we have to convert the word into a number, and it's a whole series of numbers, which is called a vector. And the vector could be literally 1,000 dimensions in size. So it's a huge thing. And that definition is really, really critical. And then once you've got it converted into that vector, and you'll see, for example, the words are stuck together here, very close together, because this is a 2D representation of a vector, which could be 1,000 dimension, 1,000 numbers comprising every word. And the idea is that you then feed it through here. Now, one of the brilliant thing about the whole process, which is actually revolutionized AI, is the use of what they call the transformer model, which is this sucker here. The transformer model, and that transformer model allows you to take a sentence and to relate the words to each other. So you can actually put the words into context, and that was the sucker punch which pushed this stuff into working for us. So that is really important, the transformer model. And just for those of you not familiar with neural networks, basically it's a little bunch of matrices, and you basically take an input over here and you weight it, and every one of your words has a vector input, a weighting, and then you feed it into this massive network. And of course, that is the deep learning usage. So you have your vector coming in here, your word coming in there, it's fed through a weighting, and then it comes up with an output. So basically this is a very simple example. This one here is trying to show you how it can predict that this grid is the number 2. So you train up the model, and of course you then can predict the number 2, which is that one there. That one lights up, the rest all go to 0. So it's quite critical for how this model works. So I'm not going to worry too much about this, but this is what they call the transformer model, and it's called a large language model. And it's all about language. So that's really how it comes about. But every word is broken into tokens, and it actually has a number representation. And I've done some happy coding using Uncle Python and come up with some really useful stuff. But that's the key here with the use of the embedding and then, of course, the transformer model. Now, what's happened to date in Silicon Valley is that if you use your phone, when you're typing, it gets a bit irritating. Sometimes you say and then it'll come up with a whole lot of suggestions. And that's basically what a large language model does. It then predicts the next word in a sequence, and it then predicts the next word in a sequence and predicts a whole 1,000-word essay. So that's really what it does. And you can see it happening on your phone all the time. When you're typing in, it will actually predict the next word, effectively what's happening. Now, the idea with transformers, and I've put a few slides in for transformers, probably the most important one is OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. That's probably the most critical one. But there's another one that just crept up in the last few days, which I want to talk about. Can anyone tell me what the one that's come up and snuck up and devastated Wall Street? What's the one that's just come in now? What's the name of it? DeepSeek, yes. I was going to say deep learning. DeepSeek, thank you very much. DeepSeek has come in and crucified the Silicon Valley model. Now, no one's sure exactly what's going on, so it's not even on my slides, but it's actually really fascinating. So the problem with AI and ChatGPT is it takes a huge amount of power and training. You have to train the model up. So here's an example of training. Can you see this here? This slide here, really important. It takes about 1.5 years to train up ChatGPT model, or it has. And then, of course, once your model and your weights are fixed, and it takes a lot of power, computing power and energy to train. And then you also need to spend 6 months fine-tuning it with humans to try and make sure that it doesn't say the wrong thing. So it's actually quite an expensive process. Now, all of a sudden, some bunch of fellows in China have come along and they've done it for a fraction of the cost, not $100 million US, I might add. They've come in and done it for apparently $5 million for no cost whatsoever. So it's caused a lot of angst on Wall Street saying, what the hell's going on here, mate? And they've actually used a very interesting model, which apparently is using reinforcement learning. And reinforcement learning is added to the transformer model. And reinforcement learning is basically, if you got your dog and you want to do reinforcement learning with your dog, you will give it a bone or a nice biscuit when it does the right thing. You reward it when it does the right thing. And that's exactly what this DeepSeek has done. They've used that to try and make it a little bit more efficient and cheaper. No one's quite sure how this will play out, but it's causing a bit of angst because, of course, everyone has gone the traditional brute force way, 18 months, huge amount of training. So ChatGPT is probably the most famous one, but there's a lot of other ones. I'm not going to be comparing them, but the applications, which some of you have already mentioned, predictive maintenance of power grids, real-time monitoring, structural health, these are all useful applications using deep learning. Predictive maintenance, fault detection, we've had already a few suggestions. Smart grid optimization, and obviously huge amount of opportunity there. And we've used it just recently on this presentation to go and analyze 300,000 jobs. And it's really done a really great job there. So these are just suggestions where you can use it. Civil engineering, you think that's the last place to use AI, but structural health monitoring, analyzing sensor data, predicting traffic flow, going one beyond Google and actually predicting what's happening. So these are all great opportunities with deep learning. So we are going to give you an example here. I'm going to give you the example, but I want you then just to think about what we call the prompt engineering. So most of you probably have worked with prompt engineering, but you need to define what you want for the model clearly in simple, plain English. You need to treat the chat GPT or the animal that you're going to be using here as a very simple individual. And you need to give it very clear instructions. Be detail specific, include all the necessary information, and then define what you want back from it. Use the right grammar. Don't try and use bad grammar because it does get confused and it doesn't always respond. And you can also say, I don't want you to respond with this. I want you to do this. And you can also say, please give me your step-by-step reasoning while you're making a particular decision. That's also a very horrible thing. If you're getting your chat GPT or your AI animal to do some work for you, it's a critical decision and you want to find out where it's gone, say to it, I want you to tell me how you came to that decision. So it needs to define step by step, blah, 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 blah. So that is important to work through. And then there's a few suggestions here. I'm not going to worry about them. This is some Business Insider. You can also give it a specific role. You are a top electrical engineer or you're a top power engineer. You could define that as well. Here's another few suggestions. And quite a few little suggestions here. And before we look at an example, which I want to go get you to do for me, here's a few suggestions here where humans will still be very important despite the arrival of these AI tools. We have IQ, but we have more than IQ, we have EQ. What's EQ? Can anyone tell me? As humans, we have EQ. These animals, these ChatGPT animals, don't have EQ. What's EQ? Please type it in the box. EQ. EQ. Yes, thank you very much, Nati. EQ is emotional intelligence. We have emotional intelligence. And one of the problems we've actually been finding, thank you very emotional, yeah, thank you, very emotional quotient, yeah, sorry. Emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, yeah, sorry. Wrong, Steve. It's emotional quotient, not emotional, but it's very similar to emotional intelligence. So we as humans have emotional intelligence. And one of the problems I had recently was we were converting a technical presentation into another language. Brilliant. Did the job from English to Spanish on a power engineering problem. Bingo. Fantastic. But it didn't have that nice emotional vooma, which is what you as a human have. So you've got to be aware of that. Obviously, a few other things is project management skills, very important. You as a human have. These animals don't, ChatGPT don't always have it. You have new experiences. You often think left of center. Let's think totally different to the rest of the crowd. And you as humans have that. And if you're a moderate misfit, you'll often have stuff which the ChatGPT won't have because it will follow the traditional, boring approach that everyone does. So bear that in mind always. Okay, so now let's have a look at a few activities. Oh yeah, just before I do that, here's a summary of tasks which AI can't do. And I was talking to a guy a few weeks ago who's an absolute guru on earthing design. Earthing design, where you have earthing for copper rods going into the ground to protect electrical structure from a disaster. So it helps safety. Electrical design, earthing is a critical part. And I said to Steve, Steve, hey, this is a great thing. AI is going to take over your job. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, I wish it did because I'm actually a bit busy with AI, with earthing design. He said, can you see an AI tool walk around the site and look at it and then work out where to put earthing rods down and to deal with all the project management of putting it in. No, mate, that's not going to happen. So, of course, it is hard for AI tools to do a earthing design and then actually do the actual site analysis. So you can certainly use it as a pal to help you, but here's a whole lot of tasks where AI will be problematic at the moment. So I always like to pull that slide out. And there's a few risks with AI. I don't have the time to go into this now, but I suppose one of the critical ones, which always intrigues me, if you see an aeroplane take off and you think, would I trust a large language model to deal with that aircraft in a critical situation? Probably not, because the 1 out of 100 times when it goes off the rails and doesn't come, the thing is the time that you're flying in the aircraft. So probably not a good idea. So if you want 100% reliability, probably not a good idea, because you can't actually understand why it does what it does. It's a black box. So those are particular issues. Okay, so now I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about, I'll be running out of time as always with these things, but I wanted to spend a few minutes looking at this. I've got a few problems here. Can you all see this screen here? This little QR code. Now, you may have a phone or a computer in front of you, and you will see there's a QR code to the right. Now, this is not going to put you into your pet virus. It's actually a app that we've written. But what I want to show you with this app is we want to look at a particular scenario. So you can scan with your phone, put your phone on or your computer, scan the app in, blah, boom, scan it in, and then you can get onto that site. So you scan it in, it's just so you put your camera on, blur, comes up with the site, or you can just type it in, and then you'll see it'll come up and say, hi there, I can help you analyze. And of course, we then click on videos, and you'll see a whole lot of videos there, which you can watch. Videos. Barry, can you try with your phone just to check there's no problem? Now, the first video I want to look at is a transformer installation, example number 1. Example number 1. So you click on example number 1, and then I want you to type your message in. Now, the message that you will type in is to assess this transformer installation. So this is an example of a transformer in French, actually. And they're moving a transformer, and I want you then to, you can look at the video, by the way. Can you hear? So you can see with the video, it's got a thing there, and I want you, sorry, let me just stop that. I want you to put in the text box there, I want you to put in something like, you are a top engineer. I want you to use your own words. I'm just giving you an example here. You're a top electrical engineer. Please review this video and identify the problems with the transformer installation. Safety, I'm interested in safety. So I'm just typing some random stuff, but you can put anything down. So you can take the first one, do that, and then look at the take another video, and then if you can put in the text box once you've done it, this will take you a few minutes to get to grips with it, and then I want you to identify some of the issues. And it's quite interesting. So this AI tool, it's open AI, it's ChatGPT, will then identify particular issues. So you can then identify the issues. So I want you to tell me whether you got anything out of that. So if you see, just say, oh, I saw it indicated a problem with the weight distribution or something like that. So just come up with a suggestion. So it'll analyze it and then we'll come up with some suggestions. Okay, so just type in the box anything. We've got a little bit of restriction here, but I just want to give you some idea of a few of the videos. So as I said, just be specific and detailed, use the correct grammar, blah, blah, blah. And you can then look at problem solving, standards, analytical depth, presentation skills. So I just want you to analyze the video. And this is the first one here, example number 1. Installation of trolls. I've just taken these random videos, but I've just taken them randomly off the web and watch a video of high voltage electrical installation and evaluate the accuracy of ChatGPT's analysis. So you have a look at it and you tell me any issues. What do you think, Barry? Are you fired up to do that?
Yes, I'm actually down about to post the answer.
Oh, you're about to post the answer. Fantastic. Thank you. And I just want to let everyone know I haven't programmed Barry. He's going to randomly put something down there. So don't think that I've been, hello, Barry, I'm telling you what to say. He's saying what he wants. So don't think that I've been talking to him and saying, hello, this is what you. So just do. So we'll take this as the first example, and then I'll just run through the other examples. It'd be nice for someone to take one of the other examples. I'll run through the examples of this one. Just do example 1. And tell me what you think. This is what it's come up with. This is complete rubbish. Or no, this is amazing. This is impressive.
So this one comes from
oh, yeah, there
video
we go.
example
Gee,
2.
what the? Good God. Thank you, Barry. Okay, so Barry's done example 2. Okay, thank you, Barry. So here, look what Barry's done here. The video, so example number 2. I didn't expect Barry to be that quick, but this is a compilation of humorous or incorrect work practices, theme of construction safety violations, improper tool use, heavy machinery issues, material handling scenes, incorrect work environment. These clips aim to humorously highlight what to not to do in a professional setting. Is crucial to add here. Thank you very much. So Barry's already got his tool to actually come up with a whole lot of stuff there. So let's see what anyone else comes up with. Anyone else for example number 1? I'm looking to you for example number 1. Barry's done example 2. Let's do example 1, and then we can take it from there. Take a few minutes. Don't rush. Life is can be put on pause for the moment. The purpose of this is just to show you that there's some tools out there which you can use to analyze, but you need to be critical about what you get back from the tool, from the AI tool. Don't trust it 1 inch. Geez, what's good gracious. Okay, there we are. Conrado Balena. Thank you very much. He's got here, based on the images from the video, here's some potential safety concerns. Ensure the cranes and rigging equipment are rated for the 203-ton weight of the transformers. Check at all lifting swings. Stability and grounding. Prevent tipping. Proper grounding of the transformers necessary to prevent electrical hazards. Personnel should maintain safe distances. Brilliant. Thanks, Conrado. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Regulatory compliance. Verify that installation meets all relevant local and national electrical codes. What do you think? I just want to ask you guys and ladies, what do you think is one of the biggest problems with ChatGPT, OpenAI, when it comes to regulatory compliance? What is the biggest problem? Can anyone tell me? Hello, hello, just text it in the box there. What's the biggest challenge? Well, any chat, anyone going to tell us? Any suggestions? Yeah, as Douglas Mugweni says, thank you very much, Douglas. That's very kind of you to pop in there. Different countries have different codes and standards. So the problem with ChatGPT and OpenAI is inevitably we all, particularly in Africa, people talk about colonial sort of problems, and I'm not going to go into a discussion on that. But I just want to say that obviously, unfortunately for you, if you're in Africa or Australia even, you'll find most of the standards will be relating to North America or particularly USA and Europe. So that's what you've got to be really wary of. So the stuff that'll be very strongly focused on those particular standards. So if you're worrying about colonial imperialism, believe me, the AI tools will be very strong in that. So you've got to be really wary about the code's interpretation because they won't be referring to your local area in South Africa or Namibia or Kenya or Western Australia. You may find some issues there. So different standards. So, Brian, thank you very much, Brian. So that's one of the challenges you have. And do you think that all the wonderful local standards are in the ChatGPT training? No, they're not. They won't be. So that's one of the biggest challenges. Thank you, Ephraim. Okay, here we are. Yes, one of the most significant restrictions of ChatGPT's data comes from web scraping, knowledge databases, social media, open data sources. Many of these originate from humans. As a result, it is hopelessly biased and screwed up. So really, you as the critical engineer, your job is even more important to be able to interpret this stuff. Absolutely critical. Thank you very much. Absolutely right. Thanks, Ephraim. That is really, I cannot emphasize enough. For example, I was looking at I was even looking at a very open standard, the IEC 61850 standard, which is used for communications in substations. So I said, hey, can you just give me some details on the 61850? So it came up with all of this stuff. Then I said, have you got the full standard? So of course it came back and said, no, I don't. I said, do not lie, tell me, doesn't. So you've got to be really, really wary about these sort of issues. Very important. You as the engineering professional, your job is even more critical than ever before. So there's a few other ones here. This is the one that Barry did. There's quite a few here, and you're welcome to try them on at your own um, at your own leisure. How to manage workers on a construction site, reviewing automation control logic in industrial engineering. I quite enjoyed that one. These are all there. You can scan them in, try them out at your own time. These are all design flaws in civil engineering, varying electrical safety compliance in a high voltage installation. And here's another one, do-it-yourself solar panel roof installation. I thought I'd try that one as well. So that again can give you some useful tips, but again, you may find some disappointing stuff there. And then finally, thermal system efficiency in HVAC systems. Those videos are there. So I've just given you some examples here. You're welcome to try these at your own leisure. Just use this. You can easily access it. It's freely available. It's our app. And if you want to look at the YouTube clip, it's over there. But we'll provide you with these slides. So in essence, just to wrap up, I just want to talk about a few things here in the time we've got available. Always think critically. So we've gone through the use of AI, huge opportunity to give your job, your career a real vuma, but be wary of some of the issues that will be coming out. So one of the challenges with AI at the moment is that it's hugely expensive. We are not currently paying for the full use of energy and or the training of these. So this year is the year when people say, hey, mate, I need to start charging you for my tool, my chat GPT or whatever. So there's going to be some issues there. There's a lot of untrustworthy data, as my good friend Ephraim has said there. Very untrustworthy data, so be very wary what's going on there. Avoid mediocrity. There's a lot of very poor solutions. And there's a question there from AT. I'll come back to that now, Mr. Martin. Just hang on a tick. We'll come to that in a tick. And then obviously there's some mild entertainment from AI, some areas where you can use it. And then obviously a few suggestions here on setting tools, setting goals. So I just want to spend a few moments talking about some of the comments here. How can deep learning help in increasing our chances of employment in other countries? Precisely electrical engineers. So basically what you need to do is start practicing using ChatGPT in your work. So you use it to make suggestions, and then you look at refining your prompts. Your prompts is the stuff that you use, and it's described in great detail on the slides here. Refine your prompts, start using it to actually extract information in your general day-to-day stuff. So from using it as a general tool for rewriting a sentence or coming up with a solution to a problem, ask it to come up with a solution, and then critique that, and then use that in your work. So you can actually follow that quite nicely. It's not a solution to everyone's woes, but it will be a useful assistant in what you're doing. I use it all the time. I come up with ideas. I say, hey, can you come up with 4 ideas to do this? But your prompting is absolutely critical. And I've given quite a lot of detail on the prompting in these slides here. And then look at the responses coming back. So you can actually say, I have been using AI as a tool to actually help me in my work. And I look at it critically, and it will help you. It will refine things. It can refine your report writing, your design, strategies, everything. But you still need to be the actual critical reviewer of the work. Don't expect it to give you a perfect solution. It will not do that, but it will add to your productivity dramatically, no doubt. Okay, so unfortunately we've run out of time. I've had a really great run through everything, and I've had some really fantastic comments there. So Conrado has come up with some suggestions. I had similar instances when I asked for related studies for a specific topic. AI will give you non-existent references. Yep, absolutely. Whenever you're using AI for anything, ask it to give you the references to the papers or the documents. Make sure it also gives you its trail of thinking. Please define how you came to this solution. Give me your thinking process. Then you can check through. So really important, and always be critical about what you're doing. But if you're not using AI, you probably are shortchanging yourself. It is critical to use it. It is a useful tool, but it is not a perfect solution, as Conrado is just saying there. Any other comments? The Fatzwa, Alan Morambedzi. Any other comments from anyone else? Let me ask a few people here. Let's ask Andres Bester. What do you think, my friend? You can text in the box. Or not. Sorry to pick you out. I've just been random, as usual. My daughter says I'm the most random father in the world. Sorry about that, Andres. Please, please forgive me. I didn't mean to pick on you. I'm probably going to be sued for traumatizing a one of the attendees. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Don't report me to the boss. Yep, as Andre says, yep, we should use AI, but use it critically. Tafadzwa, I'm following that. Thank you very much. Forward to read the presentation. Yep, so there's 90 slides. It's actually worth looking at the examples of the videos, because what I try to do with the videos just show you that there's actually a lot of tools which show a lot of things for you now. And the video one is really interesting, how it actually goes through, analyzes the videos. A lot of number crunching going on there, analyzes the videos and comes up with stuff. So that's really good. So I'm just going to pass the microphone back to Barry, Mr. Barry de Kotler, our jet setting manager who's all over the place, off to Tanzania. Hopefully the beer there's good, Barry. Although you don't drink much, so probably good. Just don't drink anything out of a which isn't coming out of a bottle. But Barry, over to you. Oh, here we are. I've got some comments here. Thank
Yeah.
you. Machine learning for industrial automation. Yes, thank you very much. That's brilliant. Is the emergence of AI going to drive the skills development towards generalization? That's a very good comment from Junior. He says, are we going to be more generalists or specialists? I can absolutely say to you now, I always thought that being a specialist was the actual answer to my career prayers. No, be a generalist. Keep an eye on all the different areas. Absolutely critical. Keep learning, but keep an eye on the other disciplines of engineering. A generalist is really useful. It's very painful, though, as we all know, because it's bad enough doing electrical engineering or mechanical than to go and do all these other areas. But be aware of all the other areas and try and be a generalist. It's changing a lot. Yeah, thank you very much. Yep, so thanks, Junior, for that very thoughtful comment. Really important. Sorry, Barry, over to you. Thank you very much, one and all. Really appreciate it. I had a lovely time talking to you, and I had a lovely time interacting with you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Barry.
Thanks very much, Steve. Just for those who are interested to some of our programs, so we have a whole lot of range of programs that are lined up for this year. So you can always just go into our website, and together with our webinars, a whole lot of webinars lined up. So if you're interested in more of these sessions, just go on our website and register. And then just circling back to the previous question regarding the certificate. So for those who have their cell phones, you can just go ahead and scan the QR code. Alternatively, I just put the link in the chat box. So if you can just follow that link and just ensure that you claim your certificate before the 3rd of February. In fact, the 3rd of February is the last day that you can claim your certificate of attendance. So ensure that you do that ASAP. And I'm sure we've gone through some Q&A, unless if maybe there's any last question for Steve. Anyone?
I'm in Perth at the moment in 40-degree heat, and I'm about to be stupid and run home. Barry, how's that? How's that for the stupidity? I'm about to put on my gym clothes, my runners, and I'll probably get about 3 or 4 clicks in, I think, and then collapse on the side and have to catch the bus the rest of the way home. But thank you so much, Barry, for joining me. And thank you all you wonderful people for joining me. It was a privilege being here with you incredible people. And thank you so much for listening in. And please look at the slides. We will get them to you. They have some very useful stuff, particularly the videos. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve,
Thanks,
for
Barry.
your
Have a
support.
good day.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, Steve. And yeah, just
Thanks.
for anyone who's got any feedback or comments, we would really love to hear your feedback and comments. So there's an email there, webinars@eit.ed.au. feel free to share some of the comments, some of your suggestions that you feel we can get involved in topics. Please feel free to share that information. Otherwise, that's it from my end here in the South African office. And thanks again, Steve.
Thanks, Barry. Cheers.
Cheers.
Adios, amigos.